John Fanta was on Afternoon Drive. He took a swipe at me, Tone.
No.
Yep. As he's wont to do. Here's John Fanta on Afternoon Drive. As they were yelling at each other about the win total for the season, here's Fanta.
You know, we can still get to whatever bet you guys want to have because John says 6, so he gets 6 and higher.
Just over,
and you get 5 and below.
Yeah, no, I don't. He's got no skin in the game here.
John, would you take 6 or higher, and then Nick gets 5 and below?
Now, if he wants to take 8 wins or higher, then we have a conversation.
Well, that's just not fair. Vegas's line is 5.5. Why would John sign up for that?
Because he acted like saying 3 wins as this huge far-fetched thing, and then he said 6 wins.
The bet if you have some sort of come on, put him on the table.
No, you're the one that put him on the table. You put him on the table.
Tell him, John. Put him on the table, Nick.
I'm putting him on the table.
You put nothing on the table.
You don't have a difference of one.
By the way, 6 wins is the most popular answer in Cleveland. That is antithetical to putting him on the table. That's saying you're going to put him on the table. That's acting like you're pantomiming putting him on the table. I see nothing on the table, John.
Okay, is this the Ken Carmen show in the morning? Because now we're yelling.
John calls up and just starts screaming at me on the phone.
Well,
like Matt Foley.
Did they even know he was on the air?
Who?
The afternoon show?
Did they even know that who was on the air?
I got a headache listening to that.
Whoa!
They never let him talk.
Whoa!
Was it an interview or did he
swipes at them? I was taking swipes at John.
No, I'm being dead serious. That gave me a headache. Oh, I have a headache already right now
I was about to say you're
my nasal
you're
issues.
under the weather.
But
did you hit the slopes?
But no, that was the thing. At least I would have gotten something out of that.
Okay.
This was.
Do you need to hit the slopes?
I do not think that would help.
I'm sure we can have a listener here in 5 minutes.
No, I'm saying they didn't let him talk, and I didn't know if that was just their producer put him up, the Assassin's Apprentice. Did they put him up, pot him up, or did he not know he was on the air? Did they not know he was on the air?
Well, no, I think, first off, I think it's pretty rich for either of us to take aim at those guys when you and I have gotten in heavy arguments with a guest on the phone, with each other while a guest was on the phone.
Oh, sure.
Daryl would know. Mary Kay has even had to be on the phone while you and I have snapped at each other. That is not the issue that I had. I have to do it. I know what the argument was, and I agree with Nick. Because 6 wins, John's calling up and talking tough like 6 wins is talking tough. That is not anything to stick your chest out for.
6 is over.
Congratulations. I guess you hit the over on that. You beat Vegas, but I don't think you're going to change any Browns fans' mind.
Should I put 5 hundo on the over?
I'm not going to tell you to bet on anything.
Well, the reason I say that is because I think the discussion was about whether or not 6 was a sweet spot, if that was where everybody was coming in. And I think Nick Wilson did say that 6 was the most popular guess for the Browns win total this year from everybody he was talking to.
I mean, it's still right about there. What did I say, 6, 7?
But I'm saying if that's the case, then Vegas needs to adjust because there's money to be made on 6 wins then.
Sorry, Gabe just did something in the window that just totally distracted me. What's yours? What do you say?
I said 4 or 5 has kind of been where I've been at throughout this entire process.
Yeah, and I said 6, 7. So I'm always going to be a more positive person than you about things. So that doesn't surprise anybody. Danny Canel, CBS Sports, he had a very interesting thing to say about the Browns win total. Here you go.
I think they could be a 9 or a 10 win team. And I do like the makeup of this team. I think the style of play of what they want to do offensively suits Joe Flacco well. I think it's one of the reasons that Shador excelled in the preseason because it's more of a play action pocket passer type of system. I know they've got to figure out Quinshon Judkins and some of the issues that are going on with him, but I really like Dylan Sampson. And then we got to think about what they did this offseason too with Myles Garrett, paying him. Their defense, I think, is going to be one of the things for them to hang their hat on. Mason Graham, one of the rookie first-round picks that they brought in there, is a player that potentially could wreak some havoc. So I think it is more of a traditional offensive style where you're taking some play-action shots down the field, trying to run the football, and playing really good, aggressive defense.
All right, I respect Danny Canel for what he just said. I can't see it all the way.
Yeah, that's twice what I said.
I had a lot of people disagree.
That's twice the amount of wins that I was thinking. That's a hell of a lot of wins. 9-10 wins seems to be unreasonable, and I'll tell you why. Now, could the Browns be better than what we thought? 216-474-0092. Should we be more bullish on the Browns? I mean, we just spent an hour talking about how people are down on them. Should we be more bullish on them? The reason why I disagree with Danny Canel, everything he said, absolutely true. I want to agree with him. And I made this argument yesterday that I think they're going to try to eliminate turnovers as best they can. Now, luck would tell you that your turnover margin cannot be that terrible 3 years in a row.
sometimes there's just luck involved. But you have to put luck into action for yourself and create it a little bit. You have to play good defense. They were terrible last year defensively. They should be better about it this year. Their front four should be better. They will eliminate turnovers as best they possibly can because I think they're going to try to run the football more. Now, who are they going to run the football with? You mentioned Audric Estime maybe coming over. If he gets cut by Denver, that'd be somebody that helps out. But if we're getting guys that are going to be cut, I don't know how much of a great big help that's going to be. That puts more pressure on Dylan Sampson and on Jerome Ford. And apparently maybe at some point Quinshon Judkins, but I'm not holding my breath on that. So they're going to try to run the football more, Tone, is what they're going to try to do. And they're going to try to eliminate the turnovers by doing that, and they're going to try to hold on to the ball and control the clock as best they can. And it's the reason why I was bullish. You were going to say something?
Yeah, is that why maybe the thought that the wrong quarterback is starting because of the health situation, that it should be Kenny Pickett because Kenny Pickett doesn't turn the ball over, Joe Flacco does turn the ball over? That's
maybe a great point that's made, but I go on this. Last year, I thought Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers were going to be a good football team, a better football team, because Jim Harbaugh believes in running the football and believes on being road graders. He went out, got himself another offensive lineman. Now Rashawn Slater's hurt. But he went out and he got himself another offensive lineman. They dedicated themselves to running the ball more. They were top half of the league of running the ball more to be able to protect Justin Herbert. That's the difference. Who do you have at quarterback? Justin Herbert, you still have to respect. Now, Joe, to start the season, that's why I thought it made sense. Joe can put it on you if you let him. We saw it against Chicago a couple years ago. He'll turn it over, and he has a propensity for it, but you have to respect him. But how long does that last? Joe's wheels get shaky. He starts to turn the ball over. I think a lot more people would have a lot more faith in Justin Herbert than the Browns. So if you wanted to say, and this is where we just start throwing rocks at each other in a ditch by the side of the road while people walk by and can't believe we're doing it down there, if you want to argue over 4 to 6 wins based on the amount of turnovers they don't have and that they can win more and get the over, I'll meet you on the over. But 9-10 wins, no. Unless there's another schedule out there somewhere I ain't looking at. No, 9-10 wins is not there.
Yeah, you'd also have to say, like, the defense would have to be in this scenario, if not the best defense in the game, top 3, to get to 9 to 10 wins. It'd have to be a top 3 defense. Which by what we've seen in the preseason and training camp, it has the makings of that. It's still hard. You'd have to be saying there's no drop off from JOK to a rookie linebacker. You'd have to be jumping to a lot of conclusions. Not to mention how thin we are in the secondary. You'd have to say that there's no more injuries because, man, you're one injury away. You've already got guys that are going to be on that field a lot that have been getting torched, in the practice sessions. So I would find that hard to believe, but you do have Myles Garrett who can wreck shop. We know at any time.
Well, your front four,
he can single-handedly win you a game.
Your front four should be much better. You got Malik Collins there, who is a hell of a hand. You got Mason Graham there, who should have more of an impact because you're going to have Miles on the field.
It's interesting. When
Alex Wright had a hell of a camp, too.
When they lost Za'Darius Smith and Okoronkwo, it was hard for people to say that they were definitely going to be better on their defensive line. Are we jumping to that assumption early because of just new guys on the team? We love new guys on the defensive line. We do this every year with the Browns.
New guys on the defensive line, but I mean, you did take a guy in the top 5 that you damn well should be better on the front 4.
Sure, but this will probably be the worst Mason Graham year you're going to get. Is he already better than what you were getting by default?
I mean,
I've liked what I've seen from him. And I was excited about the draft pick.
Yeah, but they immediately got
no learning curve at all?
But there's going to be a learning curve, but it's already better than the guy you had to cut at the end of camp last year that you signed as a free agent. So you had that wasn't able to work out. They should be better as a front 4, which should make things a little bit easier for the secondary because you're not going to have MJ Emerson to your disposal. And thank God, Jordan Schultz reports that it's not a very serious injury, the one that Denzel Ward got yesterday, because everybody's heart dropped yesterday.
If he went down, that changes the entire. I don't think Danny Canel can say 9 to 10 wins if you don't have your secondary.
Been able to play it this morning.
Your secondary would be a disaster.
I wouldn't have been able to play it this morning. But they'll find themselves in situations. See, what makes football great, and we're getting into nitty gritty stuff. When you hear about complimentary football, I think people don't really either realize it or they get bored by it. So I'll try to be brief with it. If my offense sucks and I'm consistently putting my defense in a bad situation on their half of the 50 because I'm turning the ball over, I'm going to give up points. I'm just going to give up points and upset my defense, and then I start to actually crack a foundation of the culture that I have in the locker room. Except the Browns don't have a great culture. That's why I can't say 9-10 wins. You have to have a great culture for 9-10 wins. They did find a culture, but it was a fake culture because they were pouring their hearts and souls out for everybody who wasn't the $230 million quarterback. That should have been your first clue that things weren't going very great at that time. But that's neither here nor there. No one wants to talk about that until he got hurt last year. Then everybody wanted to talk about it. So 9-10 wins. Danny Canel has been a good guest on the station before. I would love to be wrong and eat my words over it. I don't think I am. If we wanted to meet on 6 is fine. What's 6 going to get you? Does 6 keep Kevin employed? A lot of guys driving around shake their heads.
It's going to be teetering.
So if you get 6 wins, and this is what a fan is worried about, before I take this call, 216-474-0092, what a fan has to rectify with themselves, myself included. Now, you know me. I'd much rather go towards purgatory because at least I'm trying to create a culture, and people say I'm full of it. All right, let's have that argument. But if you only win 6 games, do you or do you not keep Kevin? Do you or do you not keep Andrew? And then what am I doing with my 2 first-round picks? Because if I win 6 games, I ain't drafting top 2.
No, I'm trying to think
especially with this Arch Manning business where he said yesterday he don't know what his grandpa's talking about. He could very well come out of the draft. That's going to get a lot of people thinking differently.
I'm trying to think if you got off to a 1-5 start or 0-6, and then you hand the ball off to who in that situation? Is Kenny Pickett still on this team? Is it Dylan Gabriel? Eventually, if it gets to Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel and one of those guys wins 6 games on their own, does that change things? Does that change, the thought process with the organization?
If one of those young guys get it?
Yes.
Yeah, so
does that mean they're not taking a quarterback in the first round? Does Kevin Stefanski keep his job because he'll show development with a young quarterback?
I fire through Joe and I fire through Kenny, and then I get Dylan or Shedeur. It depends on how the QB class. Like if all of a sudden Lenore Sellers and Garrett Nussmeier and Cade Klubnik and all those other guys look like garbage, then I don't think it's going to happen. But then if they don't and you're still sitting there at 6 wins or 7 wins, let's say 7 wins. Go crazy, folks. Say 7 wins. Yeah, still under 500. Let's get nuts. What a high bar we set. You get 7 wins, you can have a conversation, but you're still probably going to go, all right, is the 3rd best quarterback in this class going to be worth it? Because whoever's drafted number 1 is probably going to want that quarterback at the top. If the Colts are drafted number 1 because they got Daniel Jones going for them this year, and they would probably have a new head coach and probably a new general manager, they're probably going to restart their franchise, and an Irsay is an Irsay is an Irsay. I don't care who it is. They're going to go after their guy. Okay, well then if you're at number 5 or number 6 or number 7, all of a sudden you got to find yourself thinking, is Shedeur better than that? Is Dylan better than that? And then you're kind of stuck spinning your wheels again. Or you can use those 2 first-round picks and go for the gusto, because I don't know if all top 3 teams are going to be looking for a quarterback this year. Malone in Lakewood, you're first up on the Fan. Hello, Malone.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good to have you, Malone. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, so I think in the NFL, there's more than one Cleveland Browns team out there in the 32 teams. So you can fall backwards into 3 or 4 wins the way the teams do for us. I think the Browns will win 10 games because it's the most Cleveland Browns thing they could do with 2 first-round picks. And they'll probably see absolutely nothing out of the 2 rookies. But you got to keep Stefanski. You got to keep the regime regardless because we have the picks next year. So this is all this year and next year are packaged together. It's all 1 year. And as a lifelong Browns fan who hates the next year term, it actually means something this year. And if we don't see what we have in the rookies, we're going to blow the draft. So I think the win margin is irrelevant because you just have to see what your roster has. You got to see if you need a quarterback or if you can trade those picks. And I feel like we're not going to do that. I feel like Flacco's going to go win 7 or 8 games, and then we'll put somebody else in there for another 2 wins, and
Well, Malone, I'll tell you this. Say we even stick to my level at 6 wins, right? Thank you for the call. If you get 6 to 10 wins, then especially if you get 10 wins, then some of the pups are going to have to play well for you. So Dylan Sampson's going to have have ran the ball well for you. One of your 2 rookies are going to have to probably have played well for you at some point there, but maybe not. Maybe Joe, if you're at 10 wins, Joe's probably playing the entire season.
We're talking playoffs. If you're in 9 to 10 range, you're talking playoffs.
And Mason Graham will have had to play well, and Carson Schlesinger will have had to play well, and that might buy Andrew Berry some more time. If you end up somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 wins, you could still probably say some of those things could be true, but some of those things aren't going to be true because now it's not just getting wins and saying whether or not they stay. It's about getting trust. Because I could try to keep Kevin and Andrew. Is anyone going to trust them with 2 first-round picks next year if you end up with 5 wins?
No chance.
Or 6 wins even. I think there's an argument there against them. As uncomfortable as it may be.